A few weeks ago, I released my first devlog, and the internet seemed to like it. But that prototype, as prototypes often are, was just the beginning. Since then, I've been working tirelessly to bring you a complete, compelling, and chasmically deep platformer. It is my honor to present to you the first demo of Strata. During Christmas of 2021, I got myself a case of the old no-no virus. Stuck alone in my flat during the holidays, I finally decided to download Unity. And the first thing I did was make a circle move to the right. 2 years later, that very same circle is my dream platformer character. Strata controls like butter. It's responsive, expressive, and once you get the hang of it, explosive. As you progress through this short selection of levels, you'll start to peel away at the layers of the game's movement system. Upon completing the demo for the first time, you'll have the skills you need to go back and absolutely demolish the best times you just set. You'll mess around with creative approaches, find juicy secrets, and maybe even join the speedrunners in their never-ending quest to destroy this game. We have a thriving little community over on Discord, and the leaderboards on speedrun.com are already getting competitive. So come join us. The game is absolutely free. If you like the demo, if you think what I'm trying to build here feels like something you would want to be part of, I'm turning to the community to help me turn this demo into a complete game. You can choose to pay for the demo, and I've made a Patreon for those who want to support the game on a longer term basis. Right now, if you join the Patreon, you'll get access to unreleased levels as I'm making them. Later on, I might add things like custom cosmetics for supporters or even one-on-one playtesting sessions. I wanted to make sure the Patreon is as accessible to people as possible, so I've gone quite a bit lower than the recommended starting price. It's also where I'll be sharing my more in-depth thoughts on things like level design and lessons I've learned that are too niche or too specific to put in a video. So what is Strata, and why is it special? Well, I've always loved movement tech in games. As you've probably gathered, I'm a Celeste enjoyer, but I also speedrun games like Titanfall and Ghostrunner. Ghostrunner specifically is built around an animation cancelling system. Dashing gives you a momentary speed boost that you can carry into a slide if you time it right. But while Ghostrunner has that option as a niche movement tech reserved for speedrunners, I wanted to build an entire game around mechanics like that. Strata is all about the relationship between your slide, your jump, and your dash. Slide is your tool for building and maintaining momentum. Dash gives you a quick burst of speed, and jumping lets you spend that speed to cross massive gaps. But there are trade-offs. Dashing, or spending too much time in the air, will slow you right back down, so the perfect route through a level is one that maximizes your time on the ground. I made sure to squeeze out extra depth everywhere I could. These dash blocks in level 3, for example, have a ton of different ways you can interact with them. Hell, even coyote time is a movement mechanic in Strata. If you don't know, normally when you walk off a platform in a game, you get a split second where you're still allowed to jump. In Strata, if you slide jump during that brief window, you get a multiplier on your speed. So you gain more speed from doing this the faster you're moving. Mechanics like these make it so you can polish your run right down to the tiniest details. Anytime you can hit an extra corner or find a way to spend less time in the air is a leg up on your competition. I've taken this idea to the extreme with the level design. Basically, every challenge has a normal intended route and a bunch of other approaches I put in there for keen-eyed players to find. I'm also really into adaptive music, so I built an entire music system for cueing transitions and crossfading tracks. I then composed the entire soundtrack with that system in mind. The result is a game that feels like it's playing to you. As you can tell, I am not a visual artist. All the art for this game was done in Unity using basic shapes and simple lighting, because that's the only art tool I know how to use. But I've spent almost half my life studying music and sound. So even with placeholder visuals and audio, I've worked hard to communicate the tone and aesthetic that I want for this game. Depending on how the demo is received and if I can afford to do it, I would love to take this to the next milestone. That'll mean working with an artist to really hammer home the game's visuals, and releasing an almost final version of the first chapter of the game on Steam. To everyone who fed the algorithm last time by writing the words and pressing the buttons, you made this happen. Thank you. The smaller the YouTube channel, the more power one person has to affect the algorithm and boost the video so that more people will see it. And I think the success of the last video proves that. People were interested in supporting what I was making, and so many of you took the extra seconds to cast your vote that video gave me the confidence to spend 3 weeks doing nothing but working on this game. As you can imagine, taking the game from a prototype to a feature-complete demo in 3 weeks has given me a lot to talk about. So expect another devlog very soon. After the dust had settled, I'd had over 1,000 people download and play my 30-second level. That gave me something that, to a game dev, is worth its weight in gold. I got to see how my game performed in the wild, and get instant feedback on changes I was making as I was making them. I, of course, want to say a massive thank you to all the people who found and joined the Discord before I'd even announced it in a video. Not only did they motivate me to stay on my grind, but they also gave me access to invaluable feedback from a massive variety of different player types. From core and casual players to high-level Celeste speedrunners and map makers, the number of suggestions, bug reports, and general pieces of feedback put me in a position to make informed and meaningful changes and find ways to improve the game that I otherwise would have completely missed. I'm still learning as I go, and this channel is going to be the place where I share those lessons with you. If that sounds interesting to you, or if you just find my voice relaxing and need something to put on in the background, hit subscribe. I would be honored to have you around. I hope that in a few years I can look back on this demo as a turning point in my career. Like many of my fellow game devs, I'm currently in the process of transitioning from a traditional art form into game design. And now that this demo is out, I can officially count myself among the ranks of people who have released a game. While I've been studying game design for years now, all my qualifications are in music. With this demo, when somebody wants proof of my design skills, I no longer have to send them just a prototype and a bunch of documents. Building fun gameplay in isolation is one thing, but turning that idea into a finished piece of art is another thing entirely. But anyway, I think I've rambled on for long enough. This was originally supposed to be a 5-minute video, so I think maybe now it's time to hit the editing suite. Peace.